Alright, this is the second attempt with the mount. Either I wasn't primed and I thought I had flow the first time around, or it wasn't mounted right. Either way, I tightened it up as freaking tight as I could. And I just got done sucking on the other end of the outlet, and spitting water into a bucket so that I could get my thing primed for sure. And it is pumping for sure because I just pulled the, it's like, it's coming out the outlet. And yeah, it's pumping now. So looking at this temperature, I think everything is okay because that is idle and that is also room temperature. So the water is the temperature of the room, which is good. Couple things when I was fidgeting around pulling this back off, my little heat sinks that I have thermally glued on there with the Arctic thermal adhesive, which was like 10 years old because I never used the stuff. Last time I used it was probably 10 years ago. I never have to glue heat sinks hardly anymore. It was like a thing of the past where you had to glue them on your graphics cards, but they're half-ass falling off. My NVIDIA Quadro sign fell off, so I just had to stick it there. I can't get it to stick on the pump anymore. It must be signed if this is just abomination. But it may look like abomination with all these zip ties, but it's about to be real good fun. Because I'm about to try to blow this card up now and see how hard I can push it. Now, I want to say that this is like a R3 240 Oland OEM version, hence the green PCB. This was pulled out of somebody's, I don't know, somebody's freaking Walmart desktop a few years ago, and this card has just kind of been sitting on the shelf, and we've been using it just to test outputs sometimes when we test troubleshooting computers. I'm sorry about that LED on my motherboard. It is like bright and glaring into this camera. But anyway, I'm gonna prove that we got flow. Lifting up this knob. Woo, shit, yeah, we got flow. It's pouring everywhere. Not on the motherboard, not on the power supply. That's all outside the case. But yeah, it's flowing. Got the old classic Corsair R4 sickle flow, missing a LED. I guess it burnt out finally. This fan's probably 15 years old, but for some reason the bearing is still good. And it is still one of the best radiator fans because of the amount of pressure these things damn put out. If you were just to have your hand behind the fan, it's relatively quiet for the amount of air pressure these things put out. And they don't have a dead spot behind them in the middle like a lot of these newer ones do, like these Arctics. These P fans and these Bionics, they got a little bit of a dead spot right behind the thing there. The old R4s, the blades are curved such that even right behind the motor it gets pretty good air pressure. So I made aluminum VRM sink and VRAM heat sinks out of an old chipset heat sink from like an ancient AM2 motherboard. I have no idea if it works or not. I don't care. It was like in the junk pile, and I was like, I need a heat sink. I'm gonna cut this one up. So I chopped it up with my new grinder, and burnt myself yesterday doing it. And then I smoothed them out a little bit so that they would be relatively flat and stick onto these memory chips. And I want to say that these are like old GDDR3 memory chips. Maybe they're GDDR5. I'm gonna go look in CPU-Z real quick, or GPU-Z, one of the Z's, somebody's Z. Let's see. GPU-Z. What do we got here? Oh, that's why are they calling this a R7 350? Like, I thought 7 was designated for like the more, I don't know, at least mid-range stuff. This is like a piece of shit. This is like 384 shaders, 128-bit bus. It is GDDR5 though. So, alright. ROPs, 8. Yeah. Shaders, 24. Not expecting much out of this card, but I am going to try overclocking it if I can. But first I'm going to have to run a load test to see if this thing is even, if this cooler is mounted. So I'm going to do this little PCIe render test first. That ought to tell me something. Temperature is going up. Now, last time I did this, it went up to 100 degrees, and then the black screen, because either the pump was not primed, or the cooler was not mounted properly. I couldn't really tell, but when I pushed on the cooler, it seemed like it was getting a little bit better temperatures, but then it shit itself anyway, so looks all good now. All right, so that's a light, very light 3D load, but let's put a real 3D load on there. Let's put some good old Unigine heaven. We'll run this at the absolutely maximum tasking settings of moderate tessellation, ultra quality, at a whopping 1024 by 576 sub HD resolution. Let's see what happens. Let's put that over there. We'll put this over here. Hello, temperature. What are you doing? Oh, look at that GPU temperature. Alright, creeping. But it's not 100 degrees after 2 seconds, so it's doing something. Now, this thing had a little flimsy aluminum heatsink and a little flimsy fan on it, and it was still like the stock cooler on there. Even after I changed the thermal paste, this thing was running hot as hell when I was folding with it. And yes, we were folding with this little crappy GPU because it does fold. And we actually picked up some points per day with this when we stuck it in a one of the kids' school computers. And that way I didn't have to run off their integrated graphics. They could keep that for their schoolwork. And keep their processor for their schoolwork and still feel like they were getting some units out of this. And it actually did put out a couple thousand units. It gave me some points. So this is not running it real hard. So I'm going to try that running at a higher resolution. Let's try HD 720. It's probably going to lag like hell. And I hope you guys are enjoying these videos of me and my dumbass self just with this abomination. Oh, it's still cooling good. Look at that. 33 degrees. My motherboard ain't even shut down yet or sprung a leak. This is my good motherboard. Shit. Alright. There's a tuning button. Does it tune? Do you accept the tuning? Yes. You gonna break it? Oh, this doesn't give you very much clock headroom at all. I might have to go into Afterburner and see if this thing will unlock it all. Oh, just push these all the way to the maximum. The maximum, which is like 10 megahertz more and 20% more power. Let's see if it does anything. Metrics. We're having on my benchmark. Hey, it's making a whole 26 FPS at HD. That's good. 720. Woo! I'm surprised. It's like this card is awful. Like the kid who got rid of it, he couldn't even play like Overwatch or nothing on it. It was bad. I hooked him up with something a little bit better. yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and call this a success. The crappy little water loop that I made out of spare parts and some, uh, I don't know if it's dishwasher tubing or what that I found at Lowe's. I was over there. I was buying stuff for my toilet that I had to fix, and I ran across some tubing, and it was like $2. And I'll be damned if it didn't fit the barbs on this copper radiator. This old Acetec. This Acetec, I think it's one of the original runs because it came out of my sister's computer that she had built in like, I want to say like 2006 or 2007. It's pretty old, like maybe 2008 at the newest. Like, but it's got a copper radiator, so that was cool. So I'm like, I had all that trouble with the pump. I was gonna at least save the radiator and build something out of that for my son wanted it. So, well, this is doing better than the stock cooler. Damn, temperature went down to 29 at one point. I'm gonna feel the rag, see if it's putting out any heat. Not really. It's not even really heating up. It's probably so overkill. Feel the back of the card. Oh, the back of the card is toasty. Toasty warm. Toasty warm can better not melt the zip ties. If it melts the zip ties, then everything's gonna fall off and probably shit water all over my computer. Wait, would it shit water or would it piss water? I don't know, but it would piss me off. Well, not really that much. All this stuff is always at my own risk. All these little stupid overclocking and science experiments. I mean, most of the time they're okay. I have a lot of failures though. Probably 20% of them end up breaking something. But overall, it's an enjoyable experience. So I wonder. We have a notification up here. If it's going to show that the driver crashed earlier. Nope. It didn't even get to that bad news. I guess it shut itself down in the safety feature when it reaches 150 million degrees or whatever it's supposed to do. Alright, I'm going to try to unlock this card further in Afterburner, see if it'll go further than 1050 and, well, what does GPU-Z say? It never lies. 1050, 1150. Actually, it looks like it didn't take the overclock. Go back to the tuning page. Yeah, it didn't take it. Let's see. It didn't take shit. Did I hit apply? Piece of crap. Nah, it's not taking it. At the driver level anyway. I'll try it with Afterburner and see what it'll do. I'll unlock all that unofficial overclocking. What if this card has voltage control? I highly doubt it. But if it does, I will push the maximum voltage through it and see what happens. Alright, so if the Afterburner works at all, I'll make a new video. If it doesn't, then this is it. Because I'm taking this crap back apart. I gotta show my son real quick. And then, yeah, then it's coming apart. This was like the 5 minutes of it working and testing. And did it leak? I don't know, because that paper towel is way wedged up under there. I don't think it's gonna leak. It didn't. I didn't have any loss of water overnight, and I ran the pump all night, flushing it. I did put a paper towel under the heatsink just in case, but because when it was leaking yesterday, I mean, it was just so barely. It didn't even come off the pump. It was like, I never really beat it But if you put your finger on the O-ring, you could get wet. So what I did this morning after I shut off the pump from the test all night, I went ahead and I did this layer of silicone around the O-ring, let that dry for about 2 hours, and then I put another layer of silicone around the O-ring on the outside. Like, this is all on the outside of the pump. I never opened it today. And maybe that sealed it up the rest of the way. I don't know. I was like, I gotta test this thing. That's what I said on the forum. This thing was like a cursed item that made me keep calling back. I swore I wasn't gonna invest any more time in this. But this is my favorite part right here. Oh, NVIDIA Quadro thing. We cut that off of the tiniest little piece of crap heatsink I've ever seen. It was a blower heatsink, but like it didn't actually blow out far enough to get out of the case. It was so stupid. On this little Quadro Effects 1700, which is the equivalent of a GT 8400. Pretty old stuff. I want to say that probably was just a display output card for some ancient computer. But we kept it around because it was like still good to test stuff. It's a good tester card, but it's only the only problem with this card is it's got that card only has DVI outputs. This little Radeon that is disguised as a Quadro actually has an HDMI and a HDMI and a VGA. Really weird combination. Really piece of shit card. But it's making it. I guess it has heated that water up a little bit. I'm fixing to go put my finger in the reservoir and see if it's actually 35 degrees like a bath water. That'll be cool. Yeah. Should have seen me sucking on the outlet end of the hose and spitting it into a bucket, trying to get this reservoir primed, to get the pump primed to start this son of a bitch. That's funny. I thought for a second maybe I was going to spit it back in the reservoir, but then I was like, I better not do that. That's biological. I was going to give it COVID or something. Alright. Enough of this bullshit. 20 minutes of your day has been wasted watching this video, if you actually watch this video. Yeah. You need to go wash your eyeballs out and your ears. Goodbye.